6 things I no longer do thanks to Japanese minimalism. Have you ever wondered why Japanese people seem so calm and content with less stuff around them? What if we told you that simple changes inspired by Japanese minimalism could completely transform how you live, think, and feel every single day? Let's dive into 6 game-changing habits we've completely abandoned. Welcome back to our channel, and today we're talking about something that's honestly changed our entire perspective on living. Japanese minimalism isn't just about having fewer things in your home. It's actually a whole different way of thinking about what really matters in life. When we first heard about this concept, we thought it was just another trend about decluttering your closet. But the more we learned about it, the more we realized this goes way deeper than just organizing your stuff. Japanese minimalism comes from centuries of wisdom about finding peace and happiness through simplicity. It's about understanding that when we have less chaos around us, we can focus better on what truly brings us joy. The beautiful thing about this approach is that it doesn't ask you to live like a monk or give up everything you love. Instead, it gently guides you toward making choices that actually serve your well-being. And today, we want to share 6 specific things we've stopped doing since embracing these principles. These changes might seem small at first, but trust us, they add up to something really powerful. So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's explore how these ancient Japanese ideas can help create more space for what actually matters in your modern life. Number 1, we no longer buy things just because they're on sale. This one was honestly a huge wake-up call for us. Before discovering Japanese minimalism, we were those people who couldn't resist a good deal. You know the feeling, right? You see that 70% off sticker and suddenly you're convinced you need that kitchen gadget you've never heard of before. Japanese minimalism taught us something called mindful consumption. Instead of asking, "Is this a good deal?" we now ask, "Will this truly add value to my life?" This simple shift in thinking has saved us not just money, but also the mental energy that comes with managing too much stuff. What we've learned is that when you buy something just because it's cheap, you're not actually saving money. You're spending money on something you didn't need in the first place. Plus, that bargain item usually ends up taking space in your home, creating visual clutter that affects your peace of mind more than you might realize. The Japanese have a beautiful concept called mono no aware, which roughly means appreciating the temporary nature of things. When we started applying this idea to our shopping habits, we began to see sales and discounts differently. Instead of seeing them as opportunities we might miss, we started seeing them as tests of our true needs and values. Now, before we buy anything, we take what the Japanese call a cooling off period. We wait at least 24 hours, sometimes even a week, before making the purchase. You'd be amazed how often that must-have item suddenly seems less appealing when we give ourselves time to think about it clearly. Number 2, we no longer keep items just in case. Oh, this one hits close to home for so many of us. We used to be the champions of just-in-case thinking. That box of cables from electronics we no longer own, those clothes that might fit us again someday, the stack of magazines we were going to read when we had time. Sound familiar? Japanese minimalism introduced us to the idea that holding on to things just in case actually creates a subtle form of anxiety. When our homes are filled with items we're not actively using or enjoying, it sends a signal to our brains that we need to keep track of all these possibilities and potential futures. The truth is, most of those just-in-case scenarios never actually happen. Research shows that people use only about 20% of what they own on a regular basis. That means 80% of our belongings are just sitting there, taking up physical and mental space without adding any real value to our daily lives. Instead of keeping things for imaginary future needs, we've learned to trust our ability to handle situations as they come up. This doesn't mean being unprepared, it means being realistic about what we actually need versus what we think we might possibly need someday. The Japanese practice of danshari taught us to refuse unnecessary things, dispose of useless things, and separate from attachments. When we started applying this to our just-in-case items, we discovered something wonderful. Our homes felt lighter, our minds felt clearer, and ironically, we became better at solving problems because we weren't overwhelmed by so many unused options. Number 3, we no longer fill every empty space. This might sound strange at first, but hear us out. We used to think that empty space was wasted space. If there was a blank wall, we needed to hang something on it. If there was an empty corner, we needed to put a plant or a chair there. Every surface had to have some kind of decoration or useful item on it. Japanese minimalism showed us the incredible power of empty space, or what they call ma. In Japanese culture, the space between things is just as important as the things themselves. Think about it like this. Music isn't just the notes, it's also the silence between the notes that makes the melody beautiful. When we started leaving some areas of our home intentionally empty, something magical happened. Our spaces started to feel more peaceful and calm. We could actually see and appreciate the items we did choose to display. Our eyes had places to rest instead of constantly jumping from object to object. This principle extends beyond just physical space, too. We've learned to leave empty space in our schedules, allowing for spontaneous moments and reducing the feeling of being constantly rushed. We've created empty space in our conversations, giving people time to think and respond without immediately filling silence with more words. The beautiful thing about embracing empty space is that it makes everything else more meaningful. When you have fewer decorative items, each one becomes more special. When you have fewer commitments, each one gets your full attention. It's like the difference between a cluttered store where you can't find anything and a boutique where every item is carefully chosen and beautifully presented. Number 4, we no longer multitask everything. Before embracing Japanese minimalism, we were proud multitaskers. We'd eat breakfast while checking emails, listen to podcasts while cleaning, and scroll through social media while watching TV. We thought we were being efficient and productive, but Japanese philosophy taught us about ikigai and the importance of being fully present in whatever we're doing. We learned that when we try to do multiple things at once, we're not actually doing any of them very well. Our attention gets scattered, and we miss out on the full experience of each activity. Studies have shown that multitasking can reduce productivity by up to 40% and increase stress levels significantly. When we try to split our attention, our brains have to constantly switch between tasks, which is actually exhausting and leads to more mistakes. Now we practice what the Japanese call single tasking, or doing one thing at a time with full attention. When we eat, we focus on the flavors and textures of our food. When we clean, we find rhythm and even meditation in the simple movements. When we spend time with friends, we put away our phones and give them our complete attention. This shift has made ordinary activities feel richer and more satisfying. We've discovered that washing dishes mindfully can actually be relaxing instead of just another chore to rush through. Having conversations without distractions has deepened our relationships in ways we didn't expect. The Japanese concept of monotasking has taught us that depth is more valuable than breadth. Instead of trying to do everything at once, we now choose to do fewer things with greater care and attention. Number 5. We no longer chase every opportunity. This one might surprise you, but it's been one of the most liberating changes we've made. We used to say yes to almost every opportunity that came our way. Every invitation, every project, every chance to learn something new. We were afraid of missing out on something that might be important or beneficial. Japanese minimalism introduced us to the art of conscious choice-making. The concept of essentialism taught us that when we try to do everything, we end up doing nothing particularly well. Instead of chasing every opportunity, we learned to carefully choose the ones that truly align with our values and goals. This doesn't mean we became lazy or stopped growing. Actually, the opposite happened. When we started being more selective about opportunities, we could give our full energy and attention to the things we chose. Our work became better, our relationships became deeper, and our personal growth became more focused and meaningful. We learned to ask ourselves important questions before saying yes to anything. Does this align with what I truly want in life? Will this add genuine value, or am I just afraid of missing out? Do I have the time and energy to do this well, or will it just add stress to my life? The Japanese practice of wabi-sabi taught us that there's beauty in imperfection and incompleteness. We don't have to do everything or be everything to everyone.
There's actually something quite beautiful about choosing our path carefully and walking it with intention, even if it means saying no to other interesting possibilities. Number 6, we no longer keep broken or unloved items. The last thing we've stopped doing might seem obvious, but it's actually something many of us struggle with. We used to keep broken items thinking we'd fix them someday, or hold on to gifts we didn't really like because we felt guilty about getting rid of them. Japanese minimalism taught us that keeping broken or unloved items actually drains our energy in subtle ways. Every time we see that broken lamp or wear that sweater we don't really enjoy, it sends a small signal to our brain that something in our environment isn't quite right. The Japanese concept of motenai teaches respect for resources and avoiding waste, but it also recognizes that sometimes letting go is the most respectful thing we can do. When we keep items we don't use or love, we're not honoring them or ourselves. Now we practice gentle honesty with ourselves about our belongings. If something has been broken for months and we haven't fixed it, we probably never will. If we haven't worn something in over a year, we probably don't love it enough to keep it. If a gift doesn't suit our taste or lifestyle, it's okay to pass it on to someone who will appreciate it more. This practice has extended beyond just physical items too. We've learned to let go of digital clutter, like old photos we don't like, apps we never use, and social media accounts that don't add value to our lives. We've even applied this principle to relationships and commitments that no longer serve us or bring us joy. These 6 changes might seem simple, but together they've created a ripple effect that's touched every part of our lives. Japanese minimalism isn't about living with less for the sake of having less. It's about creating space for more of what truly matters: deeper relationships, meaningful experiences, and inner peace. The beautiful thing about these principles is that you don't have to change everything at once. You can start small, maybe with just one of these ideas, and see how it feels. Notice what happens when you give yourself permission to leave some space empty, or when you choose to focus on just one thing at a time. Remember, this isn't about perfection or following rules perfectly. It's about finding what works for you and creating a life that feels more intentional and peaceful. Japanese minimalism is really about wisdom that's been tested over centuries, and it's amazing how relevant these ideas still are in our modern world. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these 6 things resonates with you the most? Have you tried any Japanese minimalism practices in your own life? And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like it and subscribe for more content about living more intentionally. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video, where we'll explore even more ways to bring peace and simplicity into your daily routine.